video because I think that my previous introduction that I filmed at the time that I started this video might be a bit dated because that was about 4 months ago, if not maybe a bit longer. I'm making some capris. I'm knitting them with some lovely yarn that Manos del Uruguay sent me, and I'm using my microshorts pattern and extending them. I'll show you like just a little tiny sampler, maybe. And that's it, that's all you're getting. So yeah, the video just got a little bit out of hand because like I was over on holiday in the UK with my family, and I guess I am not the best knitter when it comes to a project that's like a little bit boring. It turned into like miles and miles of just knitting stockinette with black yarn. Yeah, I just kept on like doing a couple rows and then putting it down, which I guess is like a normal knitting person thing, but it's not a normal me as like a content creator for you thing. So I like very passively made these over the last 4 months, and I'm about to sit down to do all of the editing. I have so much footage, it's actually wild. I think I'm gonna have to import like 20 gigs easily. So come along and join me in making these sweet angels. Alright, lovely friends. Let's see. This is a bit more temperamental than usual because I'm on the water. So we're all a bit gimbly. So hello lovely friends, welcome to yet another little video. This one will probably be maybe a bit of a longer one. I'm going to basically vlog my next project. So I think a lot of you guys will know or have seen like the microshorts pattern that I released earlier this year. So many beautiful people have made them already, and in that pattern there's this big section just like for all of the customizations that you can add to it, and I am going to make some capris. So basically in there already I have like a little biker short variation, which I have done before, but I've never made full-on capris. And honestly, I don't think I've ever made like tightly knit trousers before. I went through a little phase of making some really like loose knit scrappy trousers a few years ago, which were really fun, but I feel like loose knits are just a totally different ball game to like a structured, perfect, tightly knit and tightly fitting piece. So that is the plan for this video. So very kindly, Manos del Uruguay sent me some yarn to use for this. So they've sent me, this isn't all of it. I've got quite a bit more back at home, but I'm currently houseboat sitting, so this is all I brought, which is a bit aspirational because I don't think I'll actually have much time to knit it up this weekend. But yeah, they sent me some yarn for this project. So this is their merino silk blend, which is so beautiful. It does tend to be like a little bit thinner than other DKs, so I think I might even bring down my needle size to like 3.5mm, which maybe is crazy. Maybe 3.5mm for the butt and then 4mm for the leg. I think that'll be fine. But yeah, I don't know if you know about Manos del Uruguay. So also, like, they're not paying me for this. Like, I guess they did send me the yarn for free, but this really isn't an ad. But I have been using their stuff for a long time, and I think it is so high quality. I think, like, especially when I was first starting out, the single ply merino hand-dyed stuff, it had like just such a chokehold on me. It was everything I wanted. I think it's the same for so many other knitters. It just looks so clean. And then the only problem is with like the big merino single ply is that then it does pill a lot. But if you have silk in it as well, it actually doesn't pill as much as you think. Like there's kind of an initial pilling, and then the silk just smooths it all out and strengthens it. So I do love the single ply when it has silk included, but it is ludicrously soft. I'll show it to you up close. So I've gone for like cornflower shade. I forget what this is called. It's called Ion. And also all of my yarn today. So these ones were made in the Dragon Cooperative by Maribel. So Maribel dyed all of this stuff for me, which I find so sweet. But yeah, you can see it's got that classic merino silk luster, which I think will be really good for like the drape of the capris. So the idea is I'm going like a little crazy just because I don't want it to be, well, and we'll see if this changes, but I don't want it to be mega stripy. Like, I don't want that to be the effect of it. I want it to be unusually stripy. So I think it's going to be mostly, sorry, I'm like so mucusy because I'm allergic to cats and there's this cat here. I think the vast majority of it is going to be in this black, and it's a really like rich, almost indigo black, which I really like. I think that that'll work well with the cornflower. And I think I'm going to do a stripe of the cornflower, like maybe a 2-row stripe at the hips, and then at each of the leg holes, like when I pick up the stitches, and then maybe like a couple stripes down by the legs. It's like sports sock stripes. And I reckon I'll do a tiny little slit at the calf too, just to make sure that I get a little bit of movement. So yeah, we'll see. I'm really excited for this, but I've only got like 2 hanks of this stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to limit the stripes involved. So the only thing is, which I have complained about before, which is really sad, I don't have a Swift. I do not own a Swift in this country. I don't even own one in Australia. I need to get one. Normally able to like borrow other people's, but I just need to commit, I think. Anyway, I'm gonna have to wind this up by hand. So I'm going to get started and wind up each of these, and then we will begin the knitting. Nice. So basically what I'm doing here is that all of these little guys, when you dye yarn, it's always best to have them really like loose and open in this, which is called like a hank or a skein or something. That allows the dye to like much easier penetrate the yarn, reach all the little bits of it. Because as you can imagine, if you just dunked a ball of yarn in dye, then you'd only get the outside of it dyed. So when you buy yarn, often, especially if it's hand dyed stuff, it'll often be given to you in a skein, which most of you guys will already know. And then the only thing is that obviously you can't knit straight from this, otherwise it'll get all tangled, so I need to wind it up into a ball first. So the way I always like to do that, you kind of see, is I like to get 2 little weights, whatever works, or you can like use the back of a chair sometimes, but you just need to kind of get it at tension a little bit. And then you get some sort of plasticky or metal smooth thing where, this looks like a bit speculum-y, but I promise it's just a spatula. And you just start winding the yarn around it. And just make sure that you'll be able to like still get it off. So the reason I chose this is because it has a bit of a tapered end. So I'll be able to slide the ball of yarn off of this. And if you leave a nice long strand there, then you can also make a center pull, which means that you'll be able to like pull the yarn from the middle of the ball rather than just the outside. So it's whatever works for you. And yeah, I like this method. It's actually quite nice for this sort of quantity of yarn where it's a bit thick and it's only 50 grams, so it's not a crazy amount. But oh my gosh, like if you're winding like a sticky yarn, like a mohair or an alpaca in this, it's like or even like a really thin yarn. So I made the mistake of trying to do this for like, I think it was just 50 grams, but it was lace weight cotton. What was I doing? So it all became this crazy tangled mess so quickly, and I had to just kind of give up after a little while. And I think I'm going to have to throw away the knot that I've made. So I got most of it, but the remnant was just horrific. It was just this totally jumbled mess. So yeah, just be aware of that. And yeah, it's just kind of part of the process. It's nice because you can kind of feel the texture of the yarn. You get to inspect it for any knots or places that are different thicknesses. If you just kind of slowly rotate the ball that you're making as you go around, you get this really pretty effect. So I always am winding it like at an angle like that. Then I kind of cover the whole thing slowly. You know, it's just up to you. Whatever you want to do. I think if you're gonna spend so much time doing it, it might as well look pretty. So this is the finished ball. I actually have no idea how long that took. Okay, the video is only like 14 minutes long. So yeah, that's not that bad. It just feels kind of exhausting while you're doing it. that it is absolutely beautiful, beautiful yarn. Let me show it to you up close. Like, the luster is just gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely obsessed. So I'll go ahead and do the same again for both of these. I think I'll just get them out of the way. And then I think that this amount of yarn will be enough for me to easily finish the short section and probably start on the legs. Alrighty, so I managed to wind up all three of these little bad boys, and I'm about to cast on. I've got my delightful little Chagu set, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and use 3.5 and 2.75 for the main body of the shorts, because normally the pattern is for 4mm, but I think that because this yarn is just a little bit thinner and will have the weight of the capris like kind of dragging them down, yeah, I might actually use 3.25 for the main needle. Yeah, I just want it to be like the butt section to be really like tight and scrunched in, and then I think I'll use 4mm for the legs because I don't mind a bit more drape on that. Like, that's totally fine. And I always use a slightly smaller needle in my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand, just because I find that it makes all of the stitches like scooch over easier. Like, because if you think about it, if the working needle is bigger, that like sets the size of the stitch, and then if the other needle is smaller, then they'll just like slip off because they're too big for the smaller needle. And so it just means that I'm never like stretching the stitches, and I think it also allows me to knit a bit faster, which is not something, it seems like a weirdly controversial thing. Like, you don't have to knit faster, but I don't really understand why you wouldn't want to knit a little bit faster, especially if you're like using small needles and like doing big projects. Yeah, like obviously it's not a competition, but I always find it funny when people are like, ooh, I'm such like a speed knitter, and then all of the comments are like shaming that person for being too fast and saying like it doesn't matter at all. And obviously it doesn't matter, like you can do whatever you want. But I just find that to be like an interesting, like, why is that a hot take? But anyway, and I think I'll do probably a built-in button band. Or should I do an afterthought button band? I'm gonna do an afterthought button band just because I want to make sure that I get the button band up to the right length. So yeah, I'm gonna do just like the main body of the shorts first. What should I cast on in? Sorry, there's people walking around. So I think I might cast on and do like my 4 stripes of the blue and use the black as like the long tail cast on waist yarn. Would that be crazy? Sorry, I'm just trying to like think through everything right now. Yeah, because I don't have that much of the cornflower. Yeah, alright, that's what we're gonna do. Sorry for being... This is literally how like all of my decisions go. I just have to like sit and quietly think for like 20 seconds. So I'm gonna cast on using these 2 bad boys. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Just tie my little knot. And I think I'm going to knit size 2. And I'm also tempted to put some like ribbing down the side of the shorts. So we shall see. Oh, the silk already feels so nice. Yeah, you probably don't want to watch me cast on all of this, so I'll do a progress update when we make some progress. How gorgeous is that? I just love merino silk. So bright. So I've made some fairly good progress on the shorts. I'm just doing like a little hip increases at the waist section. And I am interestingly like a little concerned that I might have sized up a bit too much, because I sized down the needles to 3.5, but they still don't look super tiny. And I think for these, like, I definitely need them to be really, really tight to carry the weight of the yarn on the trousers. So I'm thinking, I'm really happy that I didn't do the built-in waistband, because I think that I might need to like put in some more elastic, like a proper fold over elastic waist or something, or even like a little tie capri setup. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll finish the trousers before I make a decision like that. But it's all going very well, making good progress. Definitely feels a lot slower on the 3.5s versus the 4. So I don't know what that is. And we're enjoying cocktails in bed. Classic. My lovely friends, I am here to do a little progress update, very minor progress update. I really haven't done that much knitting. I was just knitting at a cafe all morning. I had 2 coffees, which was a bit silly, and I was also listening to the retrievals on New York Times. Like, I listened to the first season, the one about the egg retrievals and IVF, and that was horrible. Like, it was such a good show and it was so informative, but it just, that sort of thing just stresses me out a bit. Like, I don't think I have anything, like any medical phobias, but like, oh my lord, I was like halfway through the first episode, which is clearly going to be about like some sort of C-section gone wrong, and they're like talking about all of this in-depth stuff on the needles, and they're like, I'm a science graduate, I'm a STEM girl, I should be like fine with this, and it was making me feel sick. And I think it's like part of the fear of childbirth as well. Anyway, that is totally this is totally besides the point. But I have added a few more inches, barely, like maybe 2 inches to these little capris. I think that they're looking cute. I'm a little worried because I feel like with capris you need the fabric to be really thin, otherwise it'll rub a lot on the thighs, and so I'm a little worried that these are going to like a bit thick and that they'll kind of bunch on the thighs. But so I've gone back up to 4mm needles, and I'm doing a few decreases, like I did a few on the crotch, and then I think I'm gonna like put a few down the thighs. And I don't think that these are gonna be skin tight at all, just because when I do the shorter shaping for the micro shorts pattern, it does add a lot of stitches on the butt section, and I think that like I'd have to put in quite a lot of decreases to actually have them be skin tight, and I don't know if I want them to be that structured. So I reckon we're gonna go for more like chill yoga capri vibes. So I'll just put a few more decreases down the thighs and like space them out quite a bit, so they maybe go down to like the middle of the thigh, and then I'll just leave it as a tube. Yeah, I think that they'll be good. I'm getting really tempted to add in a few more stripes, like almost like a garter thigh. Would that be crazy? I don't want them to be like too like sexy or weird. I don't think they'd be sexy, I think they're just trousers. But yeah, I feel like it'll add some visual interest, but then I also think like maybe adding more stripes would take away from the cute detailing at the butt and at the hips. But anyway, yeah, I'm knitting both legs at the same time, which is a very nice technique, because then I can make sure that I'm just putting all the decreases on the same rows without having to think too deeply about it. So yeah, and I think when I block them, I'm going to be like a bit bad and not lie them flat. I think I'm going to let them like hang so that all the weight in the leg will be pulled down, because I think that the nice thing about the silk merino is that it will drape really well, especially this. I can feel like the texture of this is just so stunning. And I can feel that because I've made the stitches a little bit bigger on the thighs, that we'll get a bit more of a drapey effect as well. So I think that I definitely made the right decision with sizing down for the like body of the shorts. And yeah, I did a little try on reel and think that they're tight enough, which is good. Because I think that's the only thing that goes wrong. And I think maybe I need to make a little update to the micro shorts pattern, because I'm not sure if people are kind of using different yarns from what my testers and I use. Like, I've noticed a lot of people making them with scrappy or textured yarn, which is really good, and I'd rather you just make them with whatever. But I think that everyone is making them a little bit too big, and I do recommend sizing down if you want like a tight fit, and I think most people are after the really tight fit. So I think maybe I either just need to like adjust the sizes a bit, or say in like big all caps, like size down. I'm making pretty good progress with the yarn. I've only used like, how much have I used? Like 80% of one ball and maybe 10% of another. So, but exciting news. So this just came, exciting news, I don't want to dox myself, or dox my sister really. This just came from Qing Fibre. I love Qing Fibre. And I thought it would be sweet to open it with you. They sent me a little thank you card, even though, they explained what they gave me. And how beautiful is that handwriting as well? Oh my gosh. Thank you, Martina. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It looks like they've given me a bunch of baby suri, which is, I think, one of the greatest yarns ever. Like, I remember seeing so many of their mohair things years and years ago when I was first starting, and I didn't even know how to knit, and I was like, that is the dream. I'm so excited, I'm so excited. Yeah, there's just something about getting a big package of hand-dyed yarn. Yeah, and I just never know what colors they're gonna give me. It's always such a surprise. Sometimes they go with like the colors that I tend to use already, and sometimes they throw something crazy at me. Okay, so we can open the smaller package first. And this is all gifted, by the way. They're not like paying me for it. They're paying me in this beautiful, beautiful yarn. And then you can decide for yourself how beautiful the yarn is and if you want to. Or you can just live vicariously through me and see whatever I make with it. Oh my lord, look at that. Wow, I love the like seafoam green and the neon. And oh my gosh, I didn't think I've ever used this lilac before. Those would go together so well. So this is Thistle, and this is Yoda, and they're coming out at the end of the month. Wow. Oh. Whoa, these are crazy. Okay, so I've got 2 baby suri and 2 boucle. So the boucle are gorgeous. This one's wild. Oh my gosh, I love the dark splotches, and then the classic neon as well. They're like tiny, tiny little splotches. So I reckon they'd come out like little polka dots almost when knit. So these 2 are called Kraken, and this is the teddy, and this is the baby suri. And then these 2 are called Spongeweed, and it's the suri and the teddy again. These are very different colors. Here, I'm gonna come and see. Yeah, these are really interesting. So cool. I actually think that they all want to kind of go together, don't they? Be interesting to do some stripes with those, and maybe bring in like 1 extra black or something. I really like this lilac too. Yeah, so just how nice is the Dashing Sassy? It's like so ridiculously soft. And I guess it's the sort of interesting thing, because the Dashing Sassies, they are like sock yarn, but you really, I don't know if I would recommend using them for socks, just because they're only the 1 ply, and so even if you get something really beautiful, it'll fuzz and pill so quickly. So with these, I actually prefer holding them with a mohair or some other textured yarn, or even doubling it up, like 1 strand of this and then 1 really thin strand of cotton. And then you get like a almost DK sort of weight, and you still get all of the effect of the hand-dyed yarn, but the like cotton would tone it down a little bit. So like for this, for example, it's how many meters? I think they're usually like 400 meters. Yeah, 400 meters. And if you just got some cotton in like a similar weight, like maybe all black, and just make sure that it doesn't bleed first. and then just knit them together, you'll get this really funky like mold effect. And then with 400 meters, you could make an entire garment out of that, honestly, especially if you knit it like a little bit looser for a good drape. So that's what I like doing with these, and I've gone through quite a few of them in the past. And I used to knit up some of the, like, so this is superwash. They're all superwash merino. I used to them by themselves, but I think it's just a bit too delicate almost. Like, it would probably be better if you could knit it really tight on a machine or something, but I just can't really use 3mm needles and still make enough things for it to be interesting for you. And then the Surrey, wow. This is so interesting because it's such a muted effect compared to how the dye picked up on the teddy, because this almost looks great. I wonder if it's supposed to be that sort of saturation or if that's like just the way that the Surrey works. Yeah, I have some interesting other yarns that could work pretty well with these. I got this one in Finland. I know I showed it to you. The kind of like chartreusey thing. And I think that, oh wow, those would be good together. I really want to do a bit of a color work situation sometime soon. Yeah, and this has all the texture. Oh, imagine. Or even those three as color work. Like with, oh, interesting. Sorry, I am really just yapping. Very intriguing. And I reckon I could get a whole jumper out of that. Because this is like 220, this is 370, this is 400. I could always double that up with that for extra length. Yeah, maybe it would be better just to do those so that it's all around 400 meters. Very interesting. Anyway, that was my posing for you guys. That's my little unboxing. I love getting yarn from these guys because it's like, it always challenges me with the color combos, because I feel like I always end up making the right decisions, which is kind of funny, especially when I'm not to say that I'm like always correct, but I think that sometimes the yarn colors look a bit crazy by themselves. But yeah, it's just like making those combinations that I think they're just so interesting and so different. And I think it's nice to be challenged. Anyway, sorry, this is so yappy. I'm sure I'll cut it down so much. But yeah, I'm just gonna continue working along on my little capris. Hopefully can make some better progress than I've been making. It's just a shame because it's like a beautiful day outside. So I might try and do some knitting with a friend tonight in a park, but she's got work today. And yeah, I just want to wind these up and start knitting on them. This is so bad. I've got too much to do. Hey Morgan. So cute. It's so nice. I'm knitting my capris. I've made some good progress. I think this will be a good cover photo. I love it. So cute. Okay, good morning guys. So I'm currently in London just for a little weekend with my brother and dad. And I made this top a while ago. Well, it's like actually a skirt just with some really nice like jersey remnant that I picked up for like $2. And I've made it into this little outfit. But I feel like it's so dramatic and really posy. But I think I'm just going to have to suck it up and deal with it because I don't have anything else to wear. But it's a bit like late night. But you know what? I think I should be not casual. So yeah, I've recently developed like a little obsession with learning more about like niche perfumes. So I think I'm gonna go, there's a few. I was gonna go to the Javoy in Mayfair and Bloom in Soho, but they don't open until super late. Like I don't think Bloom opens until 1 and Javoy opens at like 11. So I might just go to Selfridges first and go do some sniffing. But yeah, there's like so many, I think maybe I've just been seeing a few too many Instagram reels about like very cool girls that are wearing weird perfumes. And now I really want to be a cool girl that can wear weird perfumes. So I'm gonna go sniff some aldehydes, some like mineral scents. And yeah, I think I need to smell something really weird. And I think I might not even bring my knitting, which is really sad. The trousers are going really well. I can kind of show you. I've made so much progress on them, so I'm sure I'm gonna be so out of frame. But yeah, like so much progress. I think they're actually like, they look like biker shorts now, I think. And when I block them, I think that they will stretch out even more. So all I'm thinking is that I probably need to put in like 2 or so more balls of this, and then it'll be down to kind of capri length. I'm still doing decreases on the sides, so just along the sides there. But I'll try them on maybe later. But yeah, I don't really feel like taking a bag with me today because we've got a lot planned. Got my nails done yesterday. I feel like over the course of the last few months, I've become so much more of like a girly girl. Like I never used to, I don't know, I'm sure like if you're a real fan of my Instagram, then you'd maybe know that all my fingers were so disgusting because I peel my cuticles so much. I'm not like a biter, but I am a peeler. I know that's horrible to hear. But I found that if I get gel nails, then I don't peel my cuticles. So I've been doing that for the last few months. And it is fun. I'm gonna find a good nail tech in Sydney. This is what all the girlies are normally doing, and now I'm just partaking, which is really fun. I love it. Hello, lovely friends. So I think it has actually been a very long time since I did any speaking on camera. So in whatever time since we last spoke, I have moved back to Sydney, back under the flight path here, if you can hear it. Yeah, I haven't really been able to get much knitting done just because it was so hectic in those last few weeks. Also, I don't know if I used to just be better at it, but I feel like now I kind of struggle knitting and chatting to people. I feel like it's quite disrespectful or something, but I think I used to do it all the time. So anyway, it's like any social situation, it's like, oh, I can't really be knitting right now. And I think knitting for me and making stuff has become much more like a work thing, which is kind of interesting to think about. But yeah, anyway, blabbing along. But it means that I kind of haven't been doing that much. So progress on the capris, which are the subject of this video, of course. Maybe I have gotten heavily sidetracked. But they're like fitting really like biker shorts, like they're already above the knee. The fit is amazing also. So I think like I might even put a little note in the pattern to just always consider sizing down, like if you know that you want a tight fit. Because I feel like normally the knitted shorts are knit in 4mm, and I feel like 3.5 will probably work for everyone. So yeah, I might do a recommendation for that. I spent this morning winding up another ball of the sweet Manos del Uruguay. I'm just loving using this stuff, but it is just so annoying not having a Swift. Like this took me about 45 minutes to wind up this morning, and they're only 50-gram balls. So yeah, that kind of had made me put this to the side. I have made some interesting things in the last like week or so. So I don't know if I would have filmed it at all. So I made like
literally last night and today I finished off these two hand spun projects. It's this little asymmetric poncho, and I feel like maybe I need to embrace the lack of color and go back to the naturals, because these are just so nice to wear. Like, I just put on a little black top, grey skirt, and I suddenly felt so chic. And then this, I was thinking about it. I actually think that maybe this is the project that's taken me longest out of any project, like not including ones that I just haven't ever finished, which aren't that many. Like, I usually finish projects, but I made it so it's like a little brioche bag. So this is actually the first yarn I ever spun on a wheel. Like, I made it at my family friend Denise's house on her old wheel, and it's a blend of kind of this mystery fiber. I think that the dark gray, like, it feels a lot like Gotland, which is more of a, like, it's a sheep's wool, but it feels more like mohair. It doesn't really have the same lanolin that normal fleece does. So I think part of it might be Gotland, and then I just spun up a bunch of other little scrappy bits. And then the other side, the white, is woven beyond Edelweiss, which is the nettle and merino yarn, which is super nice. But yeah, I cast this in February, and I don't know what it, like, it's not even that tiny of needles, it's 4 millimeters. Maybe brioche just takes so long. Like, I can't really see how many there aren't even that many stitches on this. Like, it just took me so long, and I think every time I did it I would do like a couple of rows and then I would just put it on again. And the two-color brioche, especially with this sort of super rustic wool, it makes it so that it's not stretchy at all. But I am really keen to just like lock in and finish these stupid capris, because number one, I really want to wear them, and I also am just getting worried about the length of this video. I feel like it's going to be really hard to edit just because I have so many clips. But anyway, I hope you guys are still doing well, still enjoying whatever the heck is going on in this video. And I'll give you a proper update soon. Hello, this is so embarrassing, but I'm trying to get more comfortable with filming in public. So I am currently walking to the light rail station to take a train up the Central Coast to go to the Wyong Fibre Festival, which I've never been to a fibre festival before. I'm quite intrigued. I definitely do not need more yarn, so we're gonna see how it goes.
Look at her go.
I hope that I'm in frame. I have been noticing, like, every single time I film, I'm just like slightly out of frame. Like, my forehead always misses, so maybe I'll just lift you up a little bit. So I'm back from the Fibre Festival. I had such a good time. I'm so happy that Beck made me go, or convinced me to go. I did not take that much convincing. My outfit involved my striped cardi, which I got so many compliments on, and I got recognized quite a few times, which is very sweet. I feel like it's been happening a lot recently, which is really, really wholesome. And it's nice to be able to say, like, oh yeah, free pattern. Like, when people were asking me what was the pattern. So yeah, very wholesome, very lovely. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do a little haul for you, but I am going to keep this off. Hopefully I do not flash you. So I did get quite a lot of stuff. Limited yarn, which is really good because I really don't need that much yarn. So I got myself a Swift today, my very first Swift. I've been knitting and crocheting for so long. So exciting. My very first Swift. Things will be so much easier. I can wind up textured yarn without killing my hands. And it's like this gorgeous hardwood made by this lovely person at the market. And it was only $90, like 45 pounds, which I personally think is a really good deal because a lot of like plasticky umbrella ones, I thought were way more than that. I got these gorgeous Surrey silk. So I love this cornflower right now. I also love this really bold green. And then I've been trying to get more like dark colors, just because I feel like I always need more black. I got some gorgeous alpaca fleece. Look at the natural colors there. I was admiring this because I thought that it looked like it had already been cleaned, and it has not already been cleaned, but I already felt like so committed to it that I was like, oh, I'll just get it anyway. So I am going to be spinning mostly chunky-ish again. I think I've had my phase of like trying to be a really good spinner and spin fine, and I think we're going back to the beginning, to the roots. And I think now I'll have like a few more skills to make it really even, just like make it exactly how I want. Like I don't feel like it's bad to spin chunky, I guess. I don't feel like I have anything to prove, which is good. So I'll walk you through the rest of the fibre. So I got these little gorgeous hand-dyed bits. It's kid mohair, which I feel like I just can't get enough of for spinning because it has such a good texture. It's so easy to add into everything else. So I got this merino and extra bleached tussle silk, which is interesting because I think it's actually, like, it feels much higher quality than other tussle silk that I've spun with. So I'm not complaining at all, and I think it's just, I don't know if you can see the colors. Okay, but it's just like the most gorgeous like grey pastels. And I got this one from him as well, and so this is just merino and flax and silk. So the whole shebang. And I love the texture of that. Just so exciting. So I'm trying to decide which one I should spin at first. And this is only $12 per 100 grams. So really, really good, I think. Yeah, and I actually got 2 of those. So I'll be able to spin a good 200 grams of that. And then also from the same guy, it's a scarf. It is so high quality. Like it's that sort of silk that feels entirely dry. I think I will probably dye it. And I feel like I would just go for black. I don't know if that's too boring. And then the final thing, this beautiful recycled sari silk. I think the capris are looking good. I am just worried that they're gonna end up looking like leggings. So I'm gonna put in those like little stripes now in the cornflower, and hopefully then it'll present as like kind of a sporty alternative gym. I don't know what they're going to look like. I've finished the capris, guys. I kind of just locked in to finish them over the last like couple of days. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just am so not good at doing stockinette. Like I just want to be doing scrap yarn projects for every single project, and I think that it just took me a long time to, I don't know, I think I was like knitting on it pretty normally. I was just doing like a couple of rows a night, and then it's just for capris that is a lot of rows. Even though I don't think this is that much knitting, but I guess it is quite a long tube. But anyway, I am so happy with the detailing. I'm gonna run like a little, my try on video, because I just filmed it this morning back at my house. I'll run that in like one of these corners. I'll try it, maybe I'll run it in this corner. But I added lovely little ribbing at the bottom. So I did like 3 by 1, like 3 knits, 1 purl, and some cute little stripes. So they feel like very reminiscent of like sports socks to me. Very like classic, the ones with the little red stripes. And that's exactly how I wanted them to be. And then at top, I did 3 by 2 for the ribbing, which I think looks really nice. Like it's kind of visible, because I felt like the 3 by 1 wouldn't be like ribbony enough for the top, if that makes sense. I wanted it to be quite obvious. And then I just did tubular cast off at the top, which I love so much. I hope you can see it. I'm so excited to be wearing them all summer. I feel like they'll be so good at the beach with like a bikini, like a little baby doll dress, or just like on their own with a t-shirt. Like I am just, this feels like such an exciting garment to have actually made, because I know how much use I'll get out of it. And it's my first time like ever making something for myself in black yarn, which is what I kind of wear them at. Like I know that seems a bit lame that I'm like making all this stuff in full colors and I don't actually wear that much color. I don't know if that's true. I wear my green cardigan a lot. So anyway, okay, and then time for the yarn review. I am still like so grateful to Manos del Uruguay, and I really do recommend them. I've had no issues with any of the dye lots that I've ever had, and I've like bought a lot of their yarn before this, and so it feels like quite special to have been gifted this. I think that there's such nice depth to the colors, because you can see a little bit, I don't know if you can see here, but I've got a little bit of like tubular pooling down the legs. Just like a tiny bit, where it's not like super obvious,
but I think it just adds this extra oomph to it. Like if I was using commercial black yarn, I think that these would look pretty boring, and I think that they would look much more like just normal leggings. So I've used the 1-ply silk merino, and it is pilling a little bit. Not really pilling, it's just like fuzzing a bit. And I think that, like, obviously when I was knitting them, I was kind of like moving them around and agitating them a lot, which I think is probably what's causing that. I am interested to see how they wear over time, because I guess like trousers should be a bit hardy. Like I'm gonna be sitting on things and stuff. So yeah, I think if you were going to make these, maybe I'd use one of their like plied yarns, like the ones where it's a few different strands rather than just the single, just to prevent a little bit of pilling. I don't know, I love the look of the single so much that I feel like maybe you gotta just roll with it. But yeah, and then I just felt really good the whole time making them, because it's like, all of this is dyed by Maribel. I have a little bit left over, so I'm thinking maybe I could make a little top, like something like this, maybe a little bit more vesty. So yeah, love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. I feel like I'm such a mess with the videos right now. I have like 4 or so on the go. It's really fun. We're really loving it. All right, see you later.